Hey folks, today we'll understand how all settled method of promise works. So yeah, if you guys know about promise.all, what was happening in that method was, when we are passing an array of promises, all the promises from that array should be resolved for promise.all to work. Okay, but in case of promise.all settled, it doesn't matter if a promise gets resolved or rejected. Only thing that matters is the promise must be settled. Yes, that's the only difference. Now let me show you with a few examples. Let's say we have a promise called p1 and we'll just resolve this promise. No, so I'll say promise dot resolve and I'll type p1 is resolved. Okay, now let's have another promise p2 and I'll reject it. Promise dot reject and I'll say p2 is rejected. Okay, and let's have another promise p3. Let's also resolve it, but let's resolve it after some time. So for that we have to write it like this in a proper manner. So I'll have resolve, then I'll have reject, and I'll just do set timeout, and in the set timeout I'll say resolve and I'll give a time of 1 second. Then I'll say p3 is resolved after some time. Okay, so yeah, so here if you guys know set timeout, what will happen is this p3 is resolved after some time. This statement will be passed in this resolve function, this callback function resolve, and we'll get this as result. Okay, so now let's just apply all settled method on these promises. How we'll do it, just see how I am doing it. Promise.all settled, and again like we did in promise.all, we'll pass all promises in an array only. Okay, and then let's have a then block here, and what it will do is, let's just console log the response and nothing more. Here response is also a little bit different than what we used to get in promise.all. You guys can see that we get an array of objects as response. Okay, so let's just open it up and see what happened. We are getting 3 objects. Let's open the first one. Here we are getting status and value. Status is fulfilled and value is p1 is resolved, because this p1 we get result in the same order in which we pass the elements in the array. Okay, so yeah, we'll get the result in the same order. First we'll get the result of p1, then p2, then p3. This is the same as promise.all, because in there too the order in which we get the result is same as we were passing the promises. So yeah, first we get the result of p1. Since it was fulfilled, we got the same saying it is fulfilled and p1 is resolved, and the p2 is rejected, so we got status as rejected and reason as p2 is rejected. Note one thing, if a promise is fulfilled, we'll get value and saying something, and if it's rejected, we'll get reason saying whatever the reason is. And in case of p3, since it is again fulfilled or resolved, we are getting this. Okay, now let me show you one more thing. Let's say if I do it after 3 seconds, now in that case I'll get the result, but I'll get the result after 3 seconds. So wait for 3 seconds. See, because I will only get the result if all the promises get settled. doesn't matter if they are rejected or resolved. Okay, so yeah, that I think you understood. And one more thing that I want you to understand is, if all of these promises are rejected, let's say if this is also rejected, this is also rejected, doesn't matter, we'll get all the promises, all the result from this reject, no? So see, now still we are getting the result as an object, and we are getting status and reason, status and reason because these all three are rejected. So yeah, this is rejected, and this is also rejected. Okay, so you can see in here we are getting the result, and all promises are rejected. We'll get the result after 3 seconds. You see, this is rejected, this is rejected, this is rejected. Okay, so yeah, now one more thing to note is, we don't need catch block here, because what we'll do of catch block, no, think logically. Even if a promise gets rejected, we consider it as settled. Actually it is settled, and we are getting the result in here only, in then block only. Then why we need catch block? No, even when all the promises are rejected, we are getting the result from this then block only. So we don't require the catch block at all. Okay, so yeah, I could do something like for each and just display the result also. So yeah, that's all about Promise.allSettled. If you guys like this video, I'll appreciate if you could subscribe to my channel. So go and hit that subscribe button, and we'll meet next time.